Hello everyone, this is Group 5's integration project presentation on a software called Messenger. So in this project we have myself, Justin Gullidge, Melissa Case, and Jordan Bishop, all have taken part in this research. So we proposed a problem, and that was we were wanting to develop a software that we can talk with developers and keep everything on private servers. We did not want anything going to public servers and keep everything in-house. We wanted to limit as much cost as we could, and in keeping it in-house is what we were trying to do. So for this proposed project for Messenger, we want to be able to share proprietary code without placing it on any public servers. We wanted to be sure that there's proper communication between developers. We want to make sure that this is in compliance with SOX, which we want to make sure that the developers are, everything that the developers are discussing is put onto a database to make sure that we protect any corporate fraud or theft from the idea. And then of course we wanted to make sure that all of this uses HTTPS and SSH. So in our risk analysis that we have done for this software and for this project, of course we have financial risk, making sure that we have the proper funding. It could be unseen expenses that can arise, or even business failure due to unforeseen expenses. So I want to make sure that our funding is in the proper place and that we keep on track with that funding. Next is security. We want to make sure that we have a secure network. We don't want anybody coming in and stealing our data and our work that we've done for this project. Then we have any technical risk, so it could be failure of devices, so it could be computer crashing, networks going down, servers crashing. We want to make sure that all the preventative maintenance is put in place to make sure that that does not happen. We have accountability risk, so making sure that each individual arrives to work on time, that they're staying on task, and that they complete their tasks in a given time frame. And then we have human risk, which can be anything from someone being sick and having to miss a day, and or someone, a key member leaving or getting fired. And so those are some potential risks that we came up with for this project that could potentially hold us back. So the life cycle we have chosen is the waterfall method. So the reason for that is that with the waterfall method, we need to make sure that each stage, before we start the next one, that the previous stage is completely finished. And the reason for that is just to make sure that the project runs smoothly, and that if any hiccups do arise, that we can take care of it within that stage, and making sure that we have a solid foundation for the next stage. And so in the first stage we have planning and analysis. Second stage we have defining requirements. Next stage, designing the product, developing the product, testing the product, and last, deployment of the product. The team composition that we have put in place, we're going to have 2 project managers. One of those actually is going to be a supervisor, and they're going to be overseeing the project and making sure that everything is on budget and on point with our tasks that need to be completed. And so we are going to have 5 Java developers, and they're going to be in charge of doing all the Java, the back-end web design, the database, and the object-oriented design. And then we have our front-end developers, which are going to be taking care of the HTML and CSS and JavaScript. And then we're going to have 1 security personnel, which is going to be taking care of the servers, making sure that the networks are all properly set up, and monitoring all those so that everyone else can work without flaw. For a Gantt chart here, we have basically 45 days that we're going to allow for this project to take place. We have our research that we're going to start off with in preparing for this creation of the product. Our team meetings to make sure that everyone is on the same page before we continue. We are then going to do our diagrams, our pseudocoding. Then we're going to do the actual coding, the testing, feedback, the deployment, and then afterwards team training, which will just make sure everyone knows the proper protocol and maintenance for the software to keep it going strong in the future. And then as we continue, we can add the percentage complete, and that will get us to our goal. And so you can see that each task is going to be completed before the next one begins. For our quality assurance measures, we're going to make sure we cover all the bases, and so making sure that all the links are working, that there's no misspelled words, that all the pages are linked properly, that all the files are within their reasonable limits, making sure that the server-side scripting works, and that all the guidelines are followed as we pursue through the project process. For the cost analysis, this is what we put together, and you could pause the video and kind of see what we put in place here. But essentially, it's going to be a pretty expensive product put in place, and so, but we feel that it would be, necessary for that secure product for the developers. This is a quick test of the program, and so you can see on the left here that we put at the bottom, this is the test. We hit receive, and then it goes up and it properly transitioned to the communicator. This is our class diagram. You could just take a look at that. Here's our UML system use case, and so you can see that the database has a lot of remote capabilities, and so we want that so that everything works properly for the user. Here's our state diagram, so we can see our each button and what the button does. Here's our sequence diagrams. On the left, we have the send, and on the right, we have the receive. And then here we have more of our sequence diagrams, and so we have the R send on the left and the R receive on the right. And so that concludes our presentation. And so here are our works cited where we gathered most of our information. And so we feel that JMessenger would be a great product to implement company-wide to make sure that everything stays with the company and making sure that we move forward properly. So thank you all for listening, and have a good day.